What's going on, y'all? This is Boxingwave back with another video. I've been meaning to do this video for a long time now, but every time I think about doing it or start to do it, I get a headache because these two, Floyd Mayweather and Guillermo Rigondeaux, are the two most technical fighters in the sport today, in my opinion, okay? Shout out to Balcony Christian on Twitter. He's the one that asked me, he requested this video a few months ago, and I'm finally getting around to doing it, all right? I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm finally doing it, all right? So anyway, let's get right into it. Now, when I think of technique, you know, technical fighters that are technically sound, I think of, you know, a fighter that are gonna put as many fundamentals when it comes to boxing in use in their game, okay? When I think technique, I think of offense and defense, okay? You can't be a technical fighter, and in my opinion, okay, I think you have to have some kind of defensive ability. You know, I think of counter punching, okay? I think about timing, okay? I think about a lot of things, lateral movement, stuff like that, you know? I think of intelligence in the ring, okay? I don't think of a brawler when I think of technically sound, and not everybody that, you know, isn't a brawler. You know, you have Juan Manuel Marquez, where he's one of the best counter punching in boxing. He has been for a long time now, but I wouldn't really consider him as technically sound as a Floyd Mayweather, as a Andre Ward, Rigondeaux, Bernard Hopkins, Vladimir Klitschko, okay? Because I think there's several things about these fighters that makes them very technical, okay? Whereas Marquez, he's a counter puncher, but he's a fighter that can get into brawls, you know? If you invite him into it, you know, he can exchange and trade with you. So I really don't look at him as a technician like these other fighters. Now, these two are the top two when it comes to technique, okay? Lanny Laurie, could throw him in there in the mix, okay? All right, so let's look at the two fighters. Floyd Mayweather, when I think of Floyd, I think of his offense, of course, okay? He throws punches from all different types of angles. You know, whatever punch he can throw at any given position. You know, he wants to be in the best position as he can be. You know, he doesn't like to miss, okay? He's very accurate. I think of defense, all right? I think of his reflexes and his balance and control of himself in the ring, okay? I think of his long range game, of his long reach, you know, who has a good jab. I think of his counter punching ability, fight from the mid range. He can fight on the inside and get physical with you, okay? I think of his lateral movement, all right? His timing, you know, he can be aggressive. He can be aggressive with bigger fighters, okay? I think of it all, okay? He doesn't have the biggest punching power, especially at 147, but that's not necessarily a skill. That's something that you you have to be born with, punching power, okay? Now, when I think of Guillermo Rigondeaux, I think of a lot of the same things. His lateral movement, for one, I think his lateral movement. Well, let's talk about the lateral movement. You know, I think Guillermo Rigondeaux and Lanny Laurie probably have the best lateral movement in boxing today. Okay, I think Floyd is superb on his own, but I think Rigondeaux does it where, you know, he's at another level. Now, not saying that I'll give him the advantage as far as the lateral movement. He's better at it, but Floyd does the right amount of lateral movement that's necessary. Okay, he doesn't go overboard. All right, so I'll get to that later. I think of counter punching ability as well when I think of Rigondeaux. Reflexes, balance, all right, punching power, okay, something that he has at 122. I think of speed, hand speed, you know, defense, okay, accurate puncher as well, very efficient, you know, he doesn't want to miss at all, okay? He just wants to land the perfect shot. Doesn't make much use of a jab in the ring, but he's basically trying to focus on that left hand. He's usually left hand crazy, okay? He likes to drill people with that left hand. He also has a right hook that's like a slingshot because he turns his whole waist. He'll throw the left hand out there just to turn his whole waist and strike you with that right hook, okay? One of the best punches out there to me. One of the best hooks out there, all right? Now, there's not many differences. I mean, they don't fight exactly the same, but they take full advantage of the fundamentals when it comes to being a great boxer or a great technical fighter. Now let's look at their disadvantages. Well, they're both undefeated, and I know a lot of you are gonna bring you're gonna bring the amateur pedigree here. I'm not gonna speak on that. We know Guillermo Rigondeaux won 2 gold medals. Okay, Floyd doesn't compare, but Floyd has been boxing for how long now? 18 years. Guillermo Rigondeaux hasn't been fighting as a professional too long, okay? He's already in his 30s, all right? So I'm gonna compare, like Floyd Mayweather. We really haven't seen any weaknesses. He hasn't lost a fight, okay? He's had some tough matches, all right? He's had a tough match. I think the top 3 tough matches I can think of is the Jose Luis Castillo fight. You got the Marcos Maidana recent fight, and then you got the Emmanuel Augustus fight. I think all 3 of those fights were tough for Floyd Mayweather. I think those are his top 3 toughest matches. I think people will probably bring up De La Hoya, maybe Miguel Cotto, Sugar Shane from knocking him down or almost knocking him down, and Zab Judah. Those are the fighters that other people will probably bring up. But those 3 fights that I named earlier were the top 3 toughest, and he won those fights, okay? No one has ever clearly beaten him, okay? Some people will argue that Castillo won or Marcos Maidana won, but he has never clearly lost a fight, all right? He's still undefeated. I really don't see any disadvantages with Floyd because Floyd Mayweather is a fighter that can adapt to any style of fighting, okay? He's very, very versatile. I think he's the most versatile fighter in his sport. He can fight with Brandon Rios and be on the inside with Brandon Rios the entire time and actually win that fight, okay? Brandon Rios, that is where he's best, on the inside. He can fight inside fighters and stay in the pocket with them and actually beat them at their own game. He might not knock them out because he doesn't have the punching power, but he will land the more flush shots between the two, okay? That is dangerous. Not too many fighters stray away from what they're good at. Most fighters are good at one thing. You're not gonna see Chris Algieri stay on the inside, stay on in the pocket with Ruslan Provodnikov and trade and try to get physical with Ruslan Provodnikov. You're not gonna see that. We didn't see that, okay? Floyd Mayweather, he'll be switching it up. If he ever were to fight Ruslan Provodnikov, there'll be times where he'll back into the ropes and he'll throw uppercuts and he'll probably land better shots to the body and up top than Ruslan does, okay? As far as being more efficient, okay? He's very, very versatile in his style. Now, Guillermo Rigondeaux, short professional career, but he's still undefeated. His best fight was, of course, against Nonito Donaire. But his worst fight was against Ricardo Cordoba. If you've never seen that fight, check that fight out. This is a fight that he won, but I saw a weakness in that fight. The weakness that I saw is that he has no inside game. When I say no, I mean none, slim to none, okay? Because some of you might disagree with that, because you see when Guillermo Rigondeaux is trying to get an opponent out of here, he has someone hurt, he's a good finisher, okay? And he might be on the inside when he's throwing those uppercuts and everything. I'm not saying that he can't, but when the round started in this fight here, this Cordoba fight, the first half of the fight looked like any typical Rigondeaux fight. I mean, he didn't knock him out, but he was outboxing him, okay? Looked like any typical Rigondeaux fight. But midway through the fight, he comes out and start muscling his way in a pocket and trying to get physical with Cordoba, who is the bigger guy. Most of the guys that Rigondeaux fight are bigger than him. Okay, Cordoba is a bigger guy and he's a better inside fighter. All right, he was throwing, everything that he was throwing was landing on Rigondeaux. He doesn't even have defense inside. He could not fight him on the inside at all. Okay, he was getting tagged and he eventually got knocked down. Now, he wasn't badly hurt. He got back up. It was a flash knockdown. It almost got called a slip, but he got knocked down. And for the remainder of that fight, the second half of the fight, not only did Rigondeaux not go back to the way he was fighting previous to that round on the outside, but he didn't fight at all. He ran around the ring the entire fight. If you think Laura was running against Canelo, watch this fight. Okay, Rigondeaux was not the same fighter anymore. He didn't have any confidence. Okay, he was running, he was using the entire ring. All right, he never got on the inside. He never was aggressive. You know Rigondeaux, when he's winning a fight, he goes left hand crazy. Okay, he has a lot of power in that left hand, and that was the first time I seen some type of weakness in his game. Okay, now between the two fighters, honestly, I think Floyd Mayweather is the more technical fighter because he has more versatility in his style. Okay, we still have not seen enough of Rigondeaux to me. Okay, if he goes up to 126 and he started, not even if he fought, you know what, and that's another thing, the Leo Santa Cruz fight. All right, I want the fight to happen. Obviously, Leo Santa Cruz, you know, I don't know where he's at with the fight. I don't know if he wants to fight Rigondeaux or not. All right, it seems like he doesn't, but I think that would be a good fight. I think that would be a tougher fight for Rigondeaux than the new Nito Donaire, because Donaire is a boxer. Okay, he was trying to, these two are counter punchers standing in the ring waiting to counter punch each other. Okay, the Leo Santa Cruz fight would not be the same fight. Leo Santa Cruz is going to come forward and be aggressive. And that's the thing with technical fighters, they have trouble against very aggressive fighters. Okay, fighters that are going to keep coming forward, all right, and throwing. They might not be efficient, but that's the weakness to technical fighters. Fighters that are going to keep coming. Okay, sometimes they'll overcome them, and sometimes if you have the power, you can overcome a really aggressive fighter. But when you're like Floyd, and you know, when you're like Rigondeaux and you can't get the guy out of there and the guy keeps coming forward, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have a rough night. You might get the win because you're more efficient, you're more accurate, you landed the more cleaner shots, but you're gonna have trouble against that fighter. Okay, and I have not yet seen enough of that from Rigondeaux. Okay, he has a flaw, and his flaw is that he don't have an inside game. What if he fights a fighter that's gonna be on the inside and keep pressuring him? Okay, what is he gonna do? We're yet to see that. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz could be that fighter, or he could go to 126, and there's plenty of fighters up there that can do that. All right, so I think, me personally, and Floyd, let me speak on one thing about Floyd. The only thing I have yet to see, well, I don't want to say I haven't seen, but I would like Floyd to fight a slick black boxer. Okay, we haven't seen him fight one since Zab Judah, and Zab Judah was giving him a good fight. Zab Judah was the only guy that was clearly outboxing Floyd early. Okay, Floyd is known to have slow starts at time, but Zab Judah, we know he's only a 5-6 round fighter. But if you were to fight that way for 12 rounds, I don't know if Floyd would have won that fight. But then again, Floyd is great at making adjustments, and so is Rigondeaux. You know, both fighters are great at making adjustments in the ring. But I'm yet to see enough from Rigondeaux, enough to give him the technician war between him and Floyd. I think Floyd is just a little bit more versatile than Guillermo Rigondeaux, in my opinion, right? So anyway, that's my video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and let me know Who you think is more technically sound and why?